Hare Krishna. Okay, so, there's a few people here today. Uh, I think for everyone, this is kind of this is here. This is kind of the day after. So, it's kind of also the day after for me of the Vyasa Puja, which was quite wonderful. I mean, really was amazing. The, as I mentioned in my class, that bhakti means to offer the best. Radharani is Mahabhav Swarup. She's the form of the highest love. And the form of the highest love is the form of the highest beauty. So it was really beautiful. I mean, the decorations were beautiful. The food was amazing. I'm still recovering from that. The offerings were very beautiful. Satyaraj, who's basically a literary connoisseur, really said that the offerings were really beautiful too. And that drama was amazing. And I'm really excited that he's going to do the whole he's going to do the whole 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. And that drama started, it was my idea. I knew him from, Kinshana Krishna went to NYU and he had a Bhakta club, and Alexander, who was from England, moved to Washington when he was 10 or 11. And then when he went to school, so he already met the devotees, but when he went to school, he joined the Bhakta club, and I met him. And he came to India on one of my first tours, and then he came back to do this drama. And I remember sitting with him and working on that first drama we did, Krishna and the Serpent. And he has such a depth of he's such an, I mean, you can really see this person's a great actor. I mean, it's amazing. So I'm really excited. Satyaraj also said that, this is Leela Smaran, which is a kind of very high form of devotion. When he asked, smell, it was really beautiful. Smell Govardhan, what does it sense? And, the intellectual content, not above everybody's head, but to use his literary understanding to enhance it. So I'm looking forward. He's going to be staying with me in my ashram in Govardhan for 2 weeks and going to be performing at the Govardhan Echo Retreat. So it was really an amazing day. And again, the importance of community to offer personal service and sacrifice, which is the nature of the soul. We're consciousness which reaches its fruition in service. So to get that type of absorption, and then how nicely the community is bonding. People are amazed at that cooperative spirit. I saw that cleanup where, just everyone was, it was amazing. I mean, it was done like in a half hour, the whole thing was taken down. I'm just rambling on because, my schedule is usually, by this time, I have 32 rounds done. But I didn't get to bed till real late. So by now, actually, I don't have any done. So it's not the same level of memory and focus. I'm just using my gift of gab to kind of say something, but I just think we all just so much appreciated it. And it was so nice to see people who, due to other commitments of, economic commitments, retreats they're doing, or it was nice to see Ekachakra and Nitya Seva and Raghunath and his whole family. His daughter was there, and some of the people from Super Soul. That was so nice. Yeah, and then October 6th, I'm really into showing the metro area what actually a Sunday feast looks like, that actually creates community. I think somehow the parampara has been lost. It's, the Christians for hundreds of years, they know how to create community. They have a regular service. It's part of their religion that people come to. And with Krishna consciousness, one of those things is really, it doesn't have to be like it was yesterday, but really nice prasadam. Not just for the essential, like Satyaraj is always complaining to me, why are they not making, but it's not for him to eat. It's for him to know how it creates community and how in bhakti, Dadati pritagrinati guyamatyachi prichati bhunte bojyate chaiva. Giving gifts, accepting gifts, explaining, learning, and sharing prasadam. I thought, how do you express love? By offering the best. And one of the most visceral ways is prasadam in community. So at least we're going to do it once a month, even when I'm not there. And we first tried to get Kastuba, but he was going to India. And then we tried to get Sri Prahlad. And he was okay for the 13th, but then it was booked. Then we tried to get Hayashva, and he had guests. So I asked Ekachakra to come. And some of you know, most of you know, but Ekachakra, not that it's so relevant devotion, but in one way, just because he studied bhakti. His PhD is on the origins of Bengali kirtan. And so I thought he's going to send me the title so we can have something really interesting. And then, even though I'm not there, we could still have that congregation and people together, at least in the local area. The more things we have to look forward to and to share community, the more optimistic our lives come. You need things to look forward to. I know when I when I go to the when I'm in Vrindavan and the temple prasad there, and it's kind of, you look forward to your meals. It kind of, they're already prepared. You just sit in. It gives a kind of enthusiasm, a happiness. I think we have to have things like that. So, and then when I get back, I'll certainly want to do them there. And it's and therefore the festival. I know that I was sitting on the seat, but more, it's a glorification of Prabhupada. And in devotion, we want to do the best thing. So we want to have the nicest festival, the most decorative, the most tasty, the most intellectually satisfying. And I like to brand things. Not just the name, not just in it. And anyway, okay, I helped Alex. People like my joke at the end of his drama, when I got up in all seriousness and I said that actually this is, story, and he actually got initiated by Indra. Indra got initiated into bhakti. And it's an old joke I made up, and his name was Osama Brindavan, because Indra was a terrorist. So he's going to incorporate this in the next drama, because he's going to do it in Govardhan to like 500 people. They're going to be shocked. And so I said he has to get up there in all seriousness. At the end of the drama will be something like this. And I'll share my branding. He's going to say something, in my studies, and seriousness, because he could be deadpan. In my studies, I found out this fact about Indra that's actually amazing. And, I found it in this rare book. And this is the name of the book. There's a book by, there's some books named Comedy, Kaumedi, Comedy. So comedy sounds like comedy. So no one's going to know it, and they're going to be completely hook, line, and sinker. Hasyaras, it means the rasa of comedy. So he's going to say deadpan that I found this obscure book in my research for this called the Hasyaras Comedy. They're not going to realize. Because comedy is a familiar thing. So they're not going to understand. No one's going to pick up the Hasyaras Comedy. And then he's going to tell this whole story how and the way he is, he's so brilliant in composition. And what he's going to do is he's going to say, he's going to say that, and in this book it describes that actually part of the pastime is that, Indra was kind of a Vaishnava, but he was never initiated into Braja Bhakti. So after this experience of Krishna, he got a name. And it's beautifully described there. He could do something. And it's something, and the point is, and where Krishna, where Krishna tells him, that this, this terrorism that Vrindavan, so you tried to destroy all the residents of Vrindavan, but because you humbly beg forgiveness, then what you did in the past is finished, and now I give you the name Osama Brindavan, and that's going to end the. But how do you like that? The Hasyaras Comedy. So I think it's great, and and I see Bhakti Devi there. That man that was sitting at the table, just a simple guy, right? I met him the day before. Simple guy. And somehow he had visited the Brooklyn Temple. He's kind of humble guy. And even you see the way he dresses, the way he looks, the way he talks, just like an ordinary guy, right? Ordinary guy. So somehow Mayapur Chandra met him and told him there's a Swami in town and you should take lunch with him. So he thought, I never spoke to a Swami before. So he comes and I meet him, and then, I immediately, there's two things I can understand from him, like in a second. That he's from South Brooklyn, because I know the accent, and his was so deep. I made a joke that it made Sri Rupa sound like Sir Laurence Olivier. And that he was Irish. I mean, it was all over his face. And then I'm a humble guy, and I'm speaking to him, and it comes out that he owns 70 buildings in Manhattan. I don't think big skyscrapers, but, maybe some have 20, 30 units, and, And not only owns, and he's such a simple, humble guy. And he even came, he gave me a garland, and not only such a simple and humble guy, but by just working, I told him, you got, I know you're not educated, but you got street smarts. Because, doing all these deals and doing all these things, he just learn, you ask him and he learns a lot. He knows about, how do things make successful. And yeah, and he showed me his account, He keeps money, but he spends it. He keeps on buying buildings. He says that's his addiction. So it was just a really interesting, even Satyaraj's wife, Vrinda, said, it's so nice. There's such a variety of people here. There's such a variety of people here that come. So it was great. And to me, this is the day after. It's just like, not just eating. When you eat a lot, then your body shuts down. But when you do something like that, and I said it's intense. When I was worshiping Prabhupada for that group, I said, this is intense. Because there can be no laxity in my consciousness. I'm going to sit on a seat like that with all those decorations. And I love how they made that, the arch with Prabhupada with the flowers. And yeah. So now the thing is we'll have a drama every year. I like to brand things. If it's not broke, don't fix it, but you could add things. So we'll add that. And I know how much people just enjoy community. Because the nature of community, it's very important spiritually, because a true community is like the rare, protected environment that we get, where we feel completely secure, because it's a mood of service, of common interest over individual interest. And people get the joy of releasing that individual interest, which they have to live with just to survive in the world. So it's not you can go in the world, that this is your community, you'll be devoured. So you have to carry this. And we have to carry it so strongly. We have to carry it so strongly in the modern world, because previously, the communities can expand. We have to create a community by bringing people from different places. I knew when I grew up in Brooklyn, we knew everybody on the block. We knew every single person on the block. And I liked the city. I remember when they took me out to kind of Great Neck Estates, my rich uncle, and we went boating, and I said, this is so damn boring. And you knock on the doors, you get 20, 30 kids automatically, you can play so many games. The suburbs, you got to wear. So the community, it's really powerful, and it's part of Ras Tattva. The whole idea of Ras Tattva is that, especially drama and kirtan create these intense communities, because it doesn't work unless the whole idea of rasa. It doesn't work unless the audience is one mind. A good communicator has to make sure that everything he says is understood in the same way by everyone. It's understood in the same way by everyone. One mind. So that community, especially I saw that at the very end when people were cleaning, but they were doing it with such joy, because it's a relief the limited concept of I that keeps us in the center is what blocks us from the feeling of love, because love does not flow to the center. Love does not. It's the one place it doesn't flow. You have to get out of the center. So a community is an opportunity where I'm not the center. There's something higher than my individual self. And the flow of love creates such a bhav. Sometimes, we think what makes us happy is the things we do. No, it's the consciousness in which we do it. On the material platform, I gotta clean. Oh, I gotta serve prasadam. Oh, that material consciousness, yeah, because it's not about you, but the spiritual consciousness, yes, it's not about you, but there's a bhav. There's a bhava, there's a feeling. And we love to be immersed. We love to be immersed in that feeling. So it was great, but I'm rambling on because I'll go into the Shastra now a little bit. But, I realized honestly, like how much the mode of goodness is necessary for memory. And speaking, you have to have your memory very activated. Somehow, between the conscious and the subconscious, when you're not in the right mode, there's some like blockage there. But when you speak, there has to be this whole other thing that's calculating behind as you're speaking of the points, that's creating them in a logical way and in a progression. So even when you go off in a tangent, there's no distance to getting back to there. That's why I'm kind of, doing this rap now spontaneously, but also because, we had such a wonderful wonderful time. So I hope by this afternoon on my WhatsApp group, we can have the pictures, the classes, and the prasad listed, so we could just and those who weren't there could kind of also appreciate that. Okay, we'll go a little bit today, just 10, 15 minutes, because I was wondering, what am I going to do? And after this, I just have to really sit down and meditate in one place for an hour and a half, just to become, and then pack for India. So it's all done today. So 124. One second, I got to do something. Of chapter 7, book 1, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. mat-prīty-utpādana-vyagra. śrī-nārada suhṛt-tama. hitam evākṛtātyantaṁ. bhavān rasikottama. The Supreme Lord said, Narada, my dearest friend, you are always eager to please me, and you are the best of those who relish transcendental emotions. You have now done me a great favor. Omagana timarandasya gyananjana shlakaya chaksurunmalatamyena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let's see if I can access my memory. Now, of course, we know the main theme is the topmost recipients of Krishna's mercy are the Bṛhad-bhāgavatās, specifically the gopis, more even Sri Radha, and how this is presented in so many ways. And the last way it was presented was Satyabhama not appreciating the gopis, Krishna just telling him in so many reasons, this is why I worship the gopis, this is why I worship the gopis, this is why I worship the gopis, this is why I worship the gopis. And then Uddhava, who is mantri, advisor, remember we described from Shastra, there was these 4 types of intelligence that Uddhava had. Mantri, advisor, it seems to be emotional intelligence. Then he was the most beloved of Krishna, devotional intelligence. Then he was the disciple of Brihaspati, Shastric intelligence. And then Bodhisattva, just supreme intellectual discriminatory ability. So he's very sharp, and he's the confidant of Krishna, and he sees that this bhav of him, the gopis, it can put him in that same catatonic space that Lord Brahma arranged this whole Nava Vrindavan ruse to just get him out of it. So he kind of gives a kind of indication to the queens, and they start massaging his feet and distracting him in various ways. And then Devaki and Rohini, the mothers, they already knew that they had to prepare, so they brought prasad, and he is kind of calmed down. But then, somehow or other, Narada is in the distance, and Narada is usually, he's welcome anywhere, and he comes in and they worship him, and there's some question of what's wrong with Narada, and it came down. I don't know if Narada said that or Uddhava explained it. He's afraid and embarrassed. So he's like, Krishna's saying, why he keeps standing? Why doesn't he come in? And Uddhava smiles and says he's embarrassed because it was him coming and searching for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy that caused all of this. So the Supreme Lord said, Narada, my dear friend, you were always eager to please me. You were the best of those who relish transcendental. But you've done me a favor. And you've done me a favor because, and this is going to be able to explain, which is an important component of why the gopis are the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy, that this separation feeling and this utter near-death distress that they're experiencing is somehow, Christians have to explain that this is actually the highest ecstasy, and it can't be understood by ordinary people. It's just like a young girl, if she's 5 years old, she's not going to understand romance. You have to have certain experiences to understand certain things. And we're not going to understand it because it's operating on a different realm. not this laws of cause and effect of the material world, not the confines, spatio-temporal, space-time confines. It's another realm. Simultaneous things happen. But the result is rasa vai saha. On that level, both God and his devotees are always swimming in the highest, topmost ecstasy. It is true that when one is parted from those one loves, pure love makes one suffer from within, as if from a blazing fire. The burning pain creates a remorse that further deepens into irrepressible sorrow, dur anta, difficult, anta, the end difficult shoka. Aveshena, the mood, gandham, by the deep mood of unlimited sorrow. Yes, he explains, it's true, and you caused this by coming in, but understand it first, and we should understand it. Thus, one at first seems wretched by this anguish of separation, but this anguish of separation is praised as greater than the happiness of enjoying with those one loves. Separation is so pleasing to the mind that it cannot be described. It's stuta, the suhṛt, the happiness of, it's praised higher than the happiness, sambhog suhṛt, the happiness of being with it. But api, even more, stuti, it's praised. Anirvacha, impossible to describe in words. It's manorama, pramoda, rasi, the abundance of the pleasure of the mind. Separation is so pleasing to the mind, it cannot be described. Only experts in tasting these moods can understand how this happens. And what is the word for experts? Only the rasika, the connoisseurs of love. Eka, only them. Vedya, it's understandable. After the pain of despair is relieved, one's heart feels fully satisfied, delighting constantly as one enjoys the pleasure of meeting with one's beloved. So what's going to be explained that in the material world, one thing follows another. So there's pain, there's pleasure, there's pain, the circumstance changes, there's pain, there's pleasure, there's pain, there's pleasure. But that's not how things work in the spiritual world. Every event is eternal, even the ones that are sequential. So what is ever happening is always experienced. And we have no experience of this ourselves. So it's a whole different realm. And rasika eka vedya. To those who are rasika eka, only them vedya, they understand this. One may want to feel that separation again and may indeed feel distressed if one cannot. Thus, a person who can remind one of a beloved not present is considered the most sincere and helpful friend. So they want to feel this again, and then they feel distressed if they can't feel it. So somehow or other, that level of distress is accompanied afterwards. the separation by meeting, but somehow those two feelings are happening at the same time. The neophyte mind may still be confused. That mind may think, according to the axiom that pleasure leads to pain and pain to pleasure, the abundant joy felt by an elevated devotee in prema bhakti is bound to give way to disappointment when circumstances change, as in this world they always do. The more one is elated now, the more one will suffer depression later. Premananda is greater than the ecstasy of worshiping God in mere reverence, and certainly much greater than the ecstasy of impersonal identification with the Supreme. Therefore, when the bliss of prema is interrupted by the pain of separation, one is plunged into the worst distress. To dispel this confusion, Krishna now conclusively proves that the apparent pain of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is in fact pleasure. The hearts of devotees subdued in Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta are unavoidably compelled to seek more of it. They cannot tolerate losing this ecstasy. Krishna's proof, therefore, is simple. How can anyone's heart feel the urge to suffer more pain unless the pain is really pleasure? Outsiders may perceive a devotee's ecstasy as suffering, and the devotee may speak and act as if it were, but the truth must be just the opposite. Judging from the strength of the devotee's urge to continue suffering Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, that bhava must in fact be the ultimate happiness. A material example may help clarify this point. And this, I think, was given by Vishwanath, actually it's here by Sanatan. Although the coldness of ice is the opposite of the heat of fire, ice placed on one's body may feel as hot as burning cold. Oh, the joys, when we live so simple, without internet. Oh, the joys, the simple joys of the good humor truck. Who buys ice cream from an ice cream truck now? But you run to your mother and you get 15 cents, which was a big deal. And then you'd go to the ice cream truck and it'd have the good humor man, and it would have a certain menu and you could choose what you want, some kind of ice cream pops. Well, what happiness. And then you'd ask the guy from the truck, as cruel young people do, can I have some dry ice? And then you give it to your friend. And it's cold, but it burns. So the separation is distress, but it's happiness. That's the example given. In this example, the burning sensation from ice is illusory, the numbing coldness real. Similarly, the pain of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is false appearance, disguising the reality of indescribable joy. The difference between the ecstasy of separation from Krishna and the common sensation of being touched by fire is the deep feeling of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is known only to a few, to Krishna and some of his most intimate devotees. Krishna in this verse is referring specifically to his own ecstasy and separation from the residents of Braj, but his description equally applies to their ecstatic remembrance of him. Or, to be more correct, it applies to the Vrajavasis, with the exception of the young gopis. These gopis are never relieved from a moment from the tension of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, since even when together with Krishna they are in anxiety about losing him. They never lose touch with this ecstasy, and so have no reason to think about regaining it. Yet they do not consider their pain of separation a goal for anyone to strive, because it burns them more sharply than 1,000,000 forest fires. In the gopis' own words, "Dear Uddhava Prabhu, when Krishna was here in the company of Sankarsana, he enjoyed all these rivers, hills, forests, cows, and flute sounds. All these remind us constantly of Nanda's son. Indeed, because we see Krishna's footprints, which are marked with divine symbols, we can never forget him. Bhagavatam 10, 47, 49 to 50. As this statement implies, the gopis do not worry about the pain of forgetting Krishna, because forgetting Krishna is something they cannot do even if they want to. They sometimes would like to forget Krishna to avoid the ever-increasing agony of remembering him, and certainly they do not need to ask to be put into the fire of separation. The gopis feel the pain of separation from Krishna constantly and in a unique way. Therefore, the happiness they enjoy is actually greater than of anything else. They are superior to all other servants of God and to all his other intimate devotees. Please understand, when someone made mindful of those one loves, one is giving back one's life. Forgetting those more dear than one's own breath is more painful than dying. Those dear as life one can never forget, but when reminded of them in a special way, one feels happy, like those who have lived a life of good fortune, just like Prabhupada's disappearance festival or appearance festival, and you hear the pastimes of Prabhupada, and you remember it's a special happiness, because in that separation, there's such deep feelings of love. So today you have favored me greatly, and therefore I am delighted with you. Please choose whatever benedictions you would like. And this comes another amazing session, which is also highlighting a very important point, that with Narada's prayers, and we'll read them, with Narada's prayers is he prays never to be, that devotees will never be satiated. Because again, here's this analogy, the thirst, when you have thirst, you have humility, because it's a humbling thing, of course, and you have taste. And similarly, when you have the eagerness for bhakti, you have humility. When you have thirst for bhakti, you have humility and a taste for bhakti. But unlike when you get water, it quenches the thirst. When you thirst for bhakti and you get bhakti, it increases your thirst, it increases your humility, it increases. He says, never to be satiated. Okay, somehow or other, I made it through the class with no sadhana this morning, which is, I'm no sadhana. About 10 o'clock or something, because I have some phone calls, and about 10 o'clock I'll sit down and see how long I can just concentrate and chant to attract the Lord's attention, which is one of my main points in my class yesterday. Okay, let's go. Okay, Jumanajaya, start off with any appreciation of the class, the Vyasa Puja, anything you want.
Raj, there's so much to contemplate. I loved your unpacking of the Vyasa Puja. I always love when you point out, I love the way you say it, the limited conception of I. That always makes it so clear to me. And we see the opposite, and what you've said so often, that the difference between a crowd and a community is people coming together in a community to serve something greater than themselves. And it's such an honor to be part of it. So I saw that yesterday. And then just like this last reading, everyone says, I'm not qualified to even think about these topics. Just even think about the, I was like, I don't think I'm qualified even to hear this.
Of course you are.
Forget Krishna, even if they wanted to. I was just like, wow, my mind is continually blown. But then I did have one question from yesterday. Is where will Priya's artwork be displayed? That was a special moment.
Was mind-blowing what that girl's done.
Yeah.
Well, I may get it and put it online. for $5,000.
Because it's just that was stunning.
Just the joy that a community gets when a younger member is taking to Krishna consciousness like that, and out of devotion, manifesting something so beautiful. It really added to the program, and then it was suited for the drama. So it is kind of like for the drama. I think they want me to take it to India. We'll see. It's not even finished yet. And Gail says, without the proper light, you can't even appreciate it. You understand? So she said, we really haven't seen the real thing. Okay. How do you recover so fast from everything?
I think it's the not eating.
I'm going to become your disciple for not eating. Okay, Gail. Anything, Gail? You still there?
Yeah, both. I had a couple of things. Both of them have to do with the Vyasa Puja. One was I too was going to start off with Priya's stained glass artwork. I told her, I said, I really wanted to give her a standing ovation, but I just didn't want to call all the attention to myself, and so I let her know. I transferred my standing ovation to her in her heart. And like I said, nobody actually saw that artwork because of the lack of proper lighting. Nobody.
We're going to try to get a picture and put it on.
Yeah. But the other thing, Maharaj, was, I did meet that real estate mogul.
Yeah.
Eddie. He was, oh my God, he was so sweet. And like you said, he was so simple, but he was so endearing,
He's such a nice man, right?
Oh my God, and he was telling me how he made his millions. He said, you have to follow the immigrants, because they create these neighborhoods and they bring all their stuff, their culture, and they create these neighborhoods. And by doing that, I can't explain it as scientifically as he did, but
he had so much street smarts. I can understand what he's saying. He's saying, well, if these immigrants move into a particular neighborhood, right? The neighborhood will prosper, so he'll buy a building there and it'll go up in price or something like that.
Yeah. He said they make things. He said Americans don't make anything. He said Americans make things. And you said you saw the Irish all over him, but I told him that he struck me as his demeanor was like all Italian, and he explained that because he grew up in the Italian neighborhoods of Brooklyn,
Well, I grew up in the same neighborhood as him.
Yeah, but it rubbed off on him.
What?
But it rubbed off on him. The Italian rubbed off on him,
No, when he said where he lived, it was around the block where I grew up.
Yeah,
that's why he had that beautiful accent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when I spoke to him too, and he came to see me, I thought it was real funny because he was coming to see a sannyasi. He was a little nervous, and it was kind of, oh, hey, you're from there. Hey, when we started. We knew so much about the same kind of stuff, and I became fascinated by his wisdom in just construction and business and so many things, and Greg and your husband, like he said, behind every success there's a crime. He had a lot of good mantras, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was so humble, right?
Oh my God, Maharaj, he was such a sweet man, and you would never think to look at him that he's a real estate mogul. You would never ever think. But yeah, he was really one of the highlights of Vyasa.
He offered a garland. He was in the worship thing. Yeah, I really liked him. We talked for a while. We took prasadam, and he was just, I said, wow, this is. What I liked is, come on, he has, I think he has 5 children. He's been married since he's 18. He's 48. For 30 years he's been married, and he told me also, what I like too is he told me, and he goes to one of his buildings, there's like 30 tenants or something, and one lady's there for 40 years, she can't pay the rent. He said, don't worry about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a year. And what he did in that year is he fought with the government to get her Social Security and everything so she'd be secure. And then he said when he was walking around the building, everyone was hugging him, because it gets around.
But yeah, but Maharaj, he has that very sweet side to him. But he told me a personal story where he's also a tough guy. I mean, he's a fighter, and you would never think also that he has that hardness that he can be so like mafia tough.
Well, you said he grew up in an Italian neighborhood. And he's more
Yeah,
Italian.
but no, but his he has that lisp, and he has that sweet face. You would never think that that's in him.
What did he say that was heavy?
Oh my God! Because there were some squatters in some New York property that wouldn't get out, and he took off the screen door. He just bullied the people, and the police came, and that was not a problem for him either. He took them on too, I mean, he ripped off the door to get, I mean, he wasn't budging, he was, and it wasn't even for himself. He was doing it to help this woman who had the problem. It wasn't even for himself,
No, I talked to him for an hour and a half. I just thought, what, a humble guy, and he tries to do good, and then he told me this story too that I like, is that when his father died, I forgot something happened. His father and mother were divorced, but his mother didn't have a place to stay. So he asked his brothers, let's chip in, and they're not going to do it. So he did it, and he built it properly for his house, and he just told his family, he said, look, at least I'm doing this now to work this, at least you feed my family. So they would have to bring prasad to his family. And then his wife said to him, why are you putting all this effort in? He said, so that when you need help, my kids will help you like I'm helping my mother.
Wow. Setting the example.
Yeah, okay. But that added a little flavor for the table, and I'm sure your husband enjoyed talking to him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He enjoyed everybody at the table.
Okay.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph enjoyed?
Yeah. In fact, I told Bhakti Devi, I said on the car ride over to the Vyasa Puja, he asked if she was going to be there.
Well, bankers like to be together. That's all I can say. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
All right, well,
Well, first of all, I just want to say I definitely think now that I really am on the verge of a breakthrough when I have more rounds in the morning than you do.
okay. Don't rub
But
it
I just have to say this is definitely the perfect class to end with before your departure, because I do think that all of us will be in Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta while you're gone. And for sure, it is so true that devotees are never satiated. But a couple things about the Vyasa Puja. Number one is, I can't believe you said it took about a half hour to take everything down, because let me tell you, putting it up took a lot of preparation and time. I think on Saturday alone, it had to be 10 to 12 hours, a group of people in there putting everything up. And then all of the work that they did before that day, stringing up all the lotus seeds and all the flowers. I mean, it was just, and Kaveri is amazing. I have to say, she has such vision. So it was really, really a beautiful a group effort, and always putting it up, taking it down. And also, I don't know if you heard Alex's story about his trip to India with you, and
I
how
was trying to get the noisy kids out, little kids out that was screaming.
well, it was pretty funny when he was telling us about how sick he got there,
Yeah.
and he got worried, and he said to you, I think I'm gonna die. And you looked at him and you said, you're not qualified to die in Vrindavan. And I have to tell you, I thought that was hysterical.
there were two other people in the room that I told the same thing to. Satyaraj, and he was relieved. Satyaraj was relieved when I told him that. And Raghunath.
Oh my goodness, Maharaj. That is so you. It was hysterical.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, anyone like to just say hello?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hello, Govinda.
I'm Braja.
Thank you for class.
Thank you. So we were devastated. We had to leave early. What a travesty! But the day was so nice, and
It was a travesty because the ecstasy just continued to increase, right? And it was
Yeah.
nice too, right? To see Raghunath, and Raghunath's daughter was there. He was so happy that his daughter was there.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
such a
was
beautiful
great.
That's the joy for a father, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And
It was-
then, you know, he's got this guy, Luke. I know him for 30 years. He just comes to the Vyasa Puja. You know? He's such a nice guy, Luke. And I don't know if did you know Eka Chakra before?
I met him one other time at maybe Gopa's house for a Vyasa Puja.
Okay, so he'll give the class for our Sunday feast, you know.
Yeah, very.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But what a nice day. You know, Bhakta Udi. You know, Raghunath's.
Yeah.
He said that he was so touched by everyone's offerings, and he could feel like all the love. That's like one of my favorite parts about Vyasa Puja, because we get to all come together, you know, and express our gratitude for you and show it. But like, he just was like, it's cool to see someone new to something like that and really see the appreciation. So it's palpable.
It's important to have new people, because you get to see, you know, sometimes we become stale. And
Yeah.
you get to see Krishna consciousness through the eyes. He's already off the charts enthusiastic.
I know. I loved him. He's great.
Yeah, it was great. And Satyaraj too, because, you know, he has a standard. He said all the offerings were so good, you know, they were all so good. So it was great. Yeah, we had a great time. It was just, it was fun. I'm just recovering.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I'm
It's
sure.
just like pull out the plug and just like let go of that intensity. And I like that too before I go to Vrindavan. But when I go to Vrindavan, I'm going to Vrindavan first. I usually go to Govardhan so I can bathe in Radha Kund. I need something to kind of make me even keel with that energy there.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just have to walk to the Jamuna and put a few drops on my head or something. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello? Okay, thank you. Haribol.
Safe travels.
Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Did you put Alex in his hotel room?
I put him in the hotel room. I didn't put him in the hotel room. I dropped him off outside.
Nice discussion with him on the way back.
A wonderful discussion. We talked for an hour and a half, and it wasn't just me. It was both of us. I promise. We both talked.
He's very cultured.
We had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I hope, you know, the friendship continues. Vyasa Puja was amazing. I have to say, everything there is possible because of the love that everyone has for you. This is all based on pure love.
I think it's ultimately Prabhupada, and for that day, I represent that.
Yeah, exactly. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you, hopefully, in Vrindavan a couple of weeks.
Okay. Haribol.
Haribol.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Haribol.
Krishna
Krishna
Mai.
Mai.
You also enjoyed, huh? So
Oh,
nice.
it was such a beautiful day. Just the appreciation that everyone had. It was very special. It was my first Vyasa Puja. So
It was.
It was. And I look forward to many, hopefully many, 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 many more to celebrate you and all your service and love. So I greatly appreciate you.
I appreciate you could get down there, right? It's about 2 hours, right, from Albany?
Mm-hmm.
That's not
that area. No, it was.
Okay. Well, nice to see
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you so much, Krishna.
Haribol.
Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Tota Gopinath here. Great to see you. Great day yesterday.
Yeah,
amazing community effort.
I don't think I'll leave at 3, but come 3 anyway. Okay.
And Marge, if you're putting a Priya stained glass online for sale, I'll pay cash. Come to me first. I'll pay cash. Haribol.
Okay, Haribol. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Hemalata Radha.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Happy
Haribol.
Vyasa Puja.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Maybe one day we'll be there with
Yes, I
the
hope.
whole community.
Shamki, sure. You should see the cooks there. You know, at this Krishna kitchen, the guy is expert.
Yeah.
They have this Brahmin cook that's
Wow.
expert. Yeah, I'm going to put the menu up. The variety of, you know,
Please.
the long kafta balls and the cream sauce and aloo bandu, you know, like these potato things with dough, with tamarind chutney, and hanvi, it's another type of preparation, and, you know, some cheese sabji, and Boston baked beans. That's done specially for me. It's an eight chakras family because he's from New England. I don't know. You got it like a crock, and you make the beans and you soak them in different. So I'm completely out of it today. Completely. Hemalata Radha, maybe we
Yes, Maharaj.
speak about India, and you'll see if you want to go. But I have one idea. This girl Dalia, she's from Colombia, and she's going to go. She's from Colombia, and she's going to go. She's very nice, very nice. Maybe she could speak to you, and you could like meet someplace, like in Spain, or where the plane goes. You know what I'm saying? Come to India together. Why don't you call me in the afternoon sometime?
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, Maharaj. I will.
Are you free or going out?
We will be here. We just have guests at home, but right after they're coming just to take prasadam, so maybe after that, I will.
Maybe about.
I will give you a call, Maharaj.
Maybe call me about. You're an hour behind.
We are 1 hour ahead
1 hour ahead
of you. Yes. So
Yeah.
whatever time you tell me, I'll make it happen,
Call
Maharaj.
me 4 o'clock your time, which would be 5 here. Okay.
No, no, 5 yours is my 6. So that's perfect.
Okay. No, call me at 4 yours, 5 mine. Okay. Okay.
No, my 4 is your 3, Maharaj.
This is like
Tell
a
me your time and I will make it happen.
5 o'clock.
Okay. I'll call you at 5 your time.
Okay. Haribo. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's Yvette. Thank you so much for class. Thank you for everything yesterday. Yeah, this is my 3rd Vyasa Puja. It gets better and better every year. It was so nice to see Raghunath and Haryashva were able to come. Yeah,
That was great.
It was great. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful community.
Thank you for coming, Yvette. We enjoy it. Okay, Haribo.
Haribol.
Anybody else say hello? Okay, I'm looking at all the names. I see everyone that's there. Okay. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bheva Cha Patitanam Pavani.